Hello, Jaguar students. It's your friendly neighborhood math teacher, Mr. Allred, and I would like to welcome you personally to Unit 4, mini lesson number 1 on percent conversions. That's right. Welcome to Unit 4 on percents. This tends to be kids' favorite unit of the year because it talks a lot about money with tax and tip and commission and discounts, and I hope you enjoy it just as much as my students in the past have. Good luck. I wanted to let you know that today's entry is your first entry in the table of contents, Unit 4, mini lesson number 1 on percent conversions. Here we go. This is entry number 1 in your table of contents. You want to write that on the top right-hand side. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about everything we remember from percentages last year. So you're going to tell Edpuzzle everything, if anything, you remember from last year about percents. Thank you. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to figure out what percent of this grid has been shaded. Okay? So when I look at it, I see that there's 100 total blocks and 25 of them are shaded. So I would write that as a fraction that said 25 100ths. And I would want to simplify that fraction by dividing the top and the bottom of it by 25 and calling it 1/4. So the fraction conversion of that gridded chart would be 1/4. The percentage version would be 25%. And the decimal version would be 25 hundredths. I got all of that information just by looking at this original fraction that said 25 100ths. I want you to tell Edpuzzle what you think the percentage of the second grid is right here. And then we're going to save the third grid for later. Tell Edpuzzle what you think. Awesome job. I hope that you found that it was 30% of the grid. Excellent job. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about 3 different ways to write percents as a fraction. We're going to write decimals as percents, and then we're going to write percents as decimals and fractions as percents. This mini lesson will lead us into some later mini lessons in the year that will really help us out with those percentages. A percent, the word percent literally means out of 100 or per 100. So when you're reading percentages, you should always read them as 25 out of 100, 25%. This little symbol right here is what we call a percent sign. Okay, a percent represents a part out of a total. 25% means 25 out of 100, or like we said earlier, simplified, 1 out of 4. So just like that, 36% would mean 36 out of 100. Okay, 36 out of 100 can be simplified. If you divide both sides by 4, you get 9/25. But the percent version, 36%, can be written just like 36 100ths, which is 9/25. Okay, so you're going to write numbers 1 and 2 as simplified fractions. Tell Edpuzzle what you got when you're done. It'll tell you if you're right, and you can write that on your paper. We're going to save numbers 3 and 4 when we get to my station tomorrow. Okay, you can also write decimals as percents. You can change a decimal to a percent by multiplying by 100. Since percents are out of 100 and decimals are out of 1, you can do it really easily that way. To change a decimal to a percent, you can move the decimal 2 places to the right and put a percent sign next to it. So for example, if I was doing 12 100ths, just like that, then I could do 12 100ths times 100. 0 times 0, 0 times 2 is 0, 0 times 1 is 0, 0 times 2 is 0, 0 times 1 is 0. I got 2 rows. I'm going to bring down 2 zeros for the last row. 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 1 is 1. I'm going to add up all my columns. Okay, and I've got 1200, and I'm going to move my decimal 2 places to the right. Okay, and I'm going to call that 12%. So 12 hundredths is the same thing as 12%, which makes a lot of sense because percentages are out of 100, and I had 12 hundredths. Okay, if I was converting 2 tenths to a percent, I can move the decimal 2 places to the right, just like this, and I'm going to throw a 0 up in there when I'm done. 20%. 2 tenths is the same thing as 20%. I want you to tell Edpuzzle what you think 8 100ths is. And don't worry, if this seems really fast and confusing, we're going to go over all of this in stations tomorrow as well when you appear with me. This is just the notes taking part. Okay, so far we've changed percents to fractions and decimals to percents. Now we're going to change percents to decimals. It's just backwards. You can do that by dividing by 100 or you can move the decimal 2 places to the left. So if you have 44%, you can move that decimal that is at the end 2 places to the left, 1, 2 places, and you're going to call it 44 hundredths. Okay, I want you to tell that puzzle what you think 72% and 10% is as decimals. Okay, to write fractions as percents, a percent is a part of a total, like I said. So we can use a proportion to solve these, okay, just like we had before. So if I had 3/4, I know all percents are out of 100. So I'm going to write it as a proportion. 3/4 equals x over 100. I know that 4 actually goes into 100 25 times. If I do 3 times 25, I get 75. 3/4 is like 75%. Okay? You can always write these fractions as ratios instead of them equal to another proportion that says x over 100. Okay? Or you can change it to a decimal by dividing the top by the bottom and then move the decimal 2 places to the right. Okay, you're going to tell Edpuzzle what you think number 1 and 2 are as percentages, and then you're going to stop. At the end, you're going to tell Edpuzzle if there's any questions that you have and explain to it what you learned. Okay, and then remember, we're going to do the rest of these practice problems that we haven't done yet on the page as a station tomorrow, and we're going to do all these on the bottom as a station tomorrow. Please don't work any more tonight. Please go get a good night's sleep and be a good, respectful young adult. Thanks so much. Of all the people I've ever taught, you are one of them. Keep that in mind. And make it a great night or not, and a great day of school tomorrow or not. The choice is yours. Thank you. Have a great day.